Welcome to this week's Ask Charlie, to my kitchen, and we are pizza making. We love homemade pizzas. They are so quick and so easy, and I'm going to show you exactly step by step how I make them. Now you can either do a sourdough base, which I love, but it's a slightly longer process, or you can use yeast, and we're going to use yeast today because it is a little bit quicker, it's a little bit easier, and I think it's what the majority of you will be doing. But let me know in the comments down below if you would like me to do sourdough bases, but it does take a lot longer. It's not quite so quick and spontaneous. But this I found foolproof. It's a recipe that I created years ago when I first started Ask Charlie. I was actually teaching children how to cook from my kitchen at home, and we would make pizzas, and this is the dough that I made with them. Now you can either do it by hand or you can do it in a Kenwood. I'm going to do it in the Kenwood because it literally takes 5 minutes and it's so effortless. So I've got a dough hook attachment, on that goes. But first of all, we need to weigh out our ingredients. So I've run Ask Charlie now for coming up to 8 years. I absolutely love what I do, and I love sharing content. So on a Tuesday I have a how-to video, and then on a Friday I have a vlog. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button now. The more the merrier, and I love creating content and sharing my little corner of the world with you all. So now let's make pizza. I've got my scales. I use digital salter scales. Find them really great. I find particularly when you're making sourdough and bread, you want a digital scale that's going to be really accurate, but also a scale that's not going to turn off. And it's 500 grams of flour. Now I'm using this Allison's. This is for focaccia, pizza, things like that. And you want a high protein content. Also, what's really important with your flour is to remember and check the use by date, because flour does go off and it won't work if it's way past its use by date. So that is something to check. Just slightly gone over. So I was not concentrating and chatting to you all. So if you have a look on the side, they will say how much protein, and this is 12% protein, so that's quite high, and yeah, you want a high protein content. So there we are with that. Now I'm just going to make a little bit of a well, and on one side I'm going to add my yeast. Now the other thing that's very, very important to check is the use by date on your yeast, because it will go off, and it goes off quite quickly. And if it doesn't work and something's gone awry, almost certainly it will be your yeast. So 7 grams of yeast, and put it on one side of the bowl down that little dip. You want to keep your yeast and your salt apart. Don't put them on top of one another, because the salt can actually have an effect on the yeast and stop it working so well if you literally sort of pile it on top. So I put the yeast on that side and then the salt on that side. I'll show you exactly what I mean in a minute. So 7 grams of salt, 7 grams of yeast and 8 grams of salt, and I'm popping that on the other side, and I will show you what I have done. I'm going to bring you up close and show you exactly how I do it. So I've got the salt there, I've got the yeast there. I'm now going to pop a tablespoon of olive oil into the center, like so. And then my water, and I'm using lukewarm water. Sort of room temperature is perfect. And I've got 300 ml of water, and I just pour my water into the middle, like so. I've got the yeast on that side, the salt on that side, and then I pop it into my bowl and pop that down, and I set a timer. I'm going to mix this for 5 minutes. has just gone off, and there we are. That is our dough. It's done. Well, it is, that part is done, and it's so quick and easy. You literally just measure it out, then scoop it off, make sure you've got clean hands, scoop it off the dough hook and leave it in the bowl. Then cover it and leave it somewhere warm for at least an hour. It can be longer, it can be a good sort of 3-4 hours, but at least 1 hour. I'm actually going to pop it over here. My Arga lids are on. My Arga's not on, but the lids come on and off separately, and I'm actually just boiling some eggs at the moment, so it's going to be nice and warm there. I'm going to leave it for an hour or so, and then I will be back with you and we will make the pizzas. I'm back with you. The last few hours have been completely bonkers. As soon as I've been trying to film, somebody has come in. It's literally been like 40 towers. And then Simon and I decided to have a kitchen rejig. So the Sage 3-in-1 is now over there. The toaster is now here, and we've just had a bit of a rejig because, well, maybe I'll fill you in on Friday. I'll fill you in on Friday for the vlog. We're going to get back to pizza making now. Right, chopping boards. I use chopping boards, and my dough has been proving over here. You won't believe it. Just then I had a knock at the door. Somebody popped over and has just left 20 minutes later. Now my dough has risen, and I've just will knock it back and just literally just do this. Gather it all into a ball like so, and take it out. Now I'm going to divide this into 4, and I literally just pull it apart. We're going to divide it into 3s because I think that is a much bigger half. So we'll make 3 pizzas. Now the dough is quite sticky, so I'm actually going to pop a little bit of olive oil on my hands, and rice flour is your best friend here. I've just got a tea towel covering the food because there was a knock at the door. So I'm going to pop a little bit of olive oil onto my hands, and then, now I'm not an Italian pro pizza maker that spins it round and can do it ultra sort of quickly and amazingly, but I just do it sort of like this, and just try to evenly, without getting holes in it. And this is why it's such a lovely thing to do with children, because I think it really encourages children to get adventurous with their food and what they're eating, and, you know, trying new things, and it's fun to play with the dough. Children love playing with the dough, so that's why it was one of the things that was always on my list to teach children when I was teaching cooking in person, which is how Ask Charlie started. And I absolutely love teaching cooking, which I love teaching everything, to be perfectly honest. So I'm just going to work my fingers onto the dough, and the reason why we let it rest is it's much easier to work with once it's had a good rest. I know the feeling. Once I've had a good rest, I'm much easier to work with too. Right, here goes. Now we want to just pop, once we've got it to a sort of size and shape, I mean, whatever shape, however it comes. But I then will get some rice flour, because you really want to make sure that your pizza isn't going to stick to, in fact, I'm just going to put a bit more down. I found with the pizza oven that to get it off the chopping board onto the slidey thing, to get it into the oven, you want to make sure that it's free flowing. So hence some rice flour, and then just give it, you don't want too much rice flour because then it tastes a bit rice floury. Gosh, I'm in a silly mood today. Right, there goes. That is our pizza shape. I am going to just move you down a little bit more so you can see exactly what I'm up to, and I'm going to spoon. This is the absolute best. In the old days, pre-nutty pizza sauce, I used to make my own by straining a can of tomatoes and doing it that way. But if you can't get hold of the nutty pizza sauce, then I recommend using passata, tomato passata. You don't want it to be too watery because that isn't great for your pizza. So you want a really kind of rich, lovely sauce. Pizza Express used to do one, but I haven't been able to get hold of that for years. They used to do it in a can that I would buy at the supermarket. Save making your own, but you can make your own if you've got lots of tomatoes. And actually behind me are our first of our homegrown tomatoes. But I actually grow cherry tomatoes here. I don't find in England that I've had that much success, and my tomatoes are outside this year rather than in my little greenhouse. I haven't had that much success growing bigger tomatoes, but actually, I mean, we've had so much sun this year, probably would have had great success. Now, I love this mozzarella for pizzas, and we used to have, when the children were tiny, Italian au pairs. Yeah, I'm still in touch with two of them. Such lovely girls. I'm just putting a little bit of prosciutto on this pizza. And the great thing about homemade pizzas is you can put whatever topping you want. So we'll just do this with a little prosciutto, and then the mozzarella, which I have chopped into little chunks. And again, this mozzarella is less watery, and so you're not going to get soggy pizzas. And soggy pizzas aren't great, trust me. Pizza is my most favourite food in the entire world. I could live on pizza. There's nothing quite like a wonderful Italian pizza. Right, that's quite a lot of mozzarella. I'm also going to grate, you can either have grated mozzarella. I've just grated some cheddar, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of grated cheddar over this pizza, and then I'm just going to cover that. So many flies at the moment. Cover that and then make the others, and then we shall go down to the outside kitchen area and make our pizzas. So I'm just going to do exactly the same with the other two. It's time to light the pizza oven. It's so easy to do. I've got the gas bottle down here, and I just flip that up, then come round here and press this and hold it for about 10 seconds. And then I just hear it spark and turn it up to like max heat up. I want to get the pizza oven really, really lovely and hot, and it doesn't take too long to heat up. You can see the flames. I will bring you around. Oh, I just love this area. We really are using it so much. You can hear that gas. So I'm going to leave that to heat up and bring the pizzas down, and we'll get cooking. So can you see the flames are going across the top? That's really heating the whole of the oven up, which is absolutely perfect. We don't cook with it at this maximum flow. I turn it down before cooking, but we want to get the pizza oven really nice and hot before we pop the pizzas in. So the oven is warmed up enough, and I'm just going to turn it down on the dial to the cook setting and just leave that for a moment just to settle before popping the pizza in. Now I've brought one of the pizzas down, and you need to transfer it onto here, and that is why it's essential that there's rice flour underneath so it doesn't stick, and I can easily get it on here to slide into the pizza oven to cook. So on it goes, and then in it goes, and you just want to use, Simon says, a flicking technique like that. You've got to be careful that you don't get your head too close, because that does get really, really hot. So that's why it's really important that you just flick it in and you don't get your face and hair up too close. And then I use this to turn the pizza, and I turn the pizza so it cooks evenly. And again, it's a little bit of a technique to work out how to turn it, but just a little bit of sort of shaking, jigging, and it turns really easily. So you just pop this in and then just spin the pizza around so it cooks evenly like that. And I think it's cooked. You just slide that underneath and onto the board. And here we are. Pizza is done. I've got some fresh basil leaves, which I'm just going to tear up and scatter some fresh basil on the top, because I love a bit of basil. Also love rocket on pizza. The great thing is you can pop on whatever you love and enjoy. And then I've got this pizza cutter that my youngest son made for me at school in his design project. It works really well. I just cut the pizza up with that, but there we are. Pretty homemade pizza from scratch. I really hope that that has inspired you to make your own pizzas. The dough is so easy, and even if you don't have your own pizza oven, you can cook them in the oven in exactly the same way. It's just so lovely. With the pizza oven, you get this lovely crispy crust. So there we are, lovely, lovely crispy pizza, so delicious. I really hope that you have enjoyed this week's how-to. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel if you're not already, and do let me know in the comments down below if there's videos that you would like me to create going forward. But I hope that this has inspired you to give making your own pizzas a go. I will make sure that the recipe is available for you in the description box of this video and over on my website as well. But happy pizza making, and thank you for tuning in, sending love, and hope to see you on Friday with this week's vlog.